Again, the Prime Minister is misleading the House. Only bold enough to say it to your face.
You don't know what I'm going to say. You don't know what I'm going to say.
The Prime Minister is attributing a point of view or a remark to me, which is false.
I rise to use my entire 30 minutes on this motion.
No, you can speak for the 45 minutes or 30 minutes now, but you know you don't have the chance to speak when you come back to close. You do it right now. You have the time then.
I want to know how you going to stop me from speaking when I'm the one tabling the PAAC report.
If you attempt to do it...
No, you can't stop that.
No, I'll ask you to name you. So don't go there.
Effort into a more mainstream response stood up by the ministries, departments and agencies. Inasmuch as members of parliament have been clamoring to want to deliver package, to want to deliver roofing material, there will come a time, and it has already come, where the members of parliament will be saying, take this away from me, I can't manage it anymore. But you know, this is, Madam Speaker, the challenge. Because in one voice you say you want it, and then in another voice you say you don't want it, you just want it done. And Madam Speaker, we as the government who have the responsibility, we already knew that this moment would come. And therefore, Madam Speaker, that is why we have always emphasized that we must stand up the government, make the government strong, including the members of the opposition, so that we can give the long-enduring service to those Jamaicans who are suffering. That is what we have done. So, Madam Speaker, the idea that somehow the relief effort has been partisan, unfairly distributed, the main proponent being my sister and neighbor from St. Andrew South West.
Again, the Prime Minister is misleading the House by saying, and besmirching, yes, my character, by saying that I am the main proponent. Obviously, he's not on social media. He's not reading what others are saying and writing. I am only bold enough to say it to your face.
Madam Speaker, I am happy that the member who says that she is not the main proponent, who asked the same question last week and asked it this week, and is bold enough to state, I am happy that she has raised the issue. Because, Madam Speaker, as I travel through the country, supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party have come to me complaining that the PNP MPs who have gotten substantial relief aid have not been distributing it to them. And I want to put it on record, Madam Speaker, that when they have come to me, I have said to them, in the interest of unity and peace in this country, that we wouldn't raise it or complain about it. But there is obviously, Madam Speaker, an effort to destroy the goodwill and to falsely accuse the government in a very malicious way. And we have, Madam Speaker, made every attempt to be fair in how we have distributed the public's resources, not our resources, the public resources. And to answer the member, I have given a directive to the Minister of Labour, to the Minister of Local Government, and to ADPEP that they must release all public aid that has been given to every member of Parliament in this country. So that the unfair and malicious attempt to cast the government in an unfair light can be dispelled by facts. So, Madam Speaker, that will be made available as soon as the next sitting. And we have also said, I must say, Madam Speaker, I received yesterday a very good report from ADPEM that they now have in place a proper system to manage inventory. So very soon, we should be able to have a public access website where we can see everything that comes in and everything that is given. We will put an end to this deliberate malicious attempt to destroy the reputation of the government. Madam Speaker, and we will see when it happens who has gotten more. Madam Speaker, no, I'm on my feet. So we will disclose everything that has been given to constituencies. Let me put it that way. Well, it can't go to the constituency unless it goes through the FP. So, Madam Speaker, I know what has fallen over there and why everybody is all of a sudden getting hot under the collar. I know. Madam Speaker, let me continue. Grants which ministers who are in the various areas where those grants are given will speak. But 12 billion for this case is for technical advice. 12 billion. And you are correct in the sense that sometimes these grants come with conditionalities as to who would be the consultant, and some countries have, precisely, some countries do have a requirement that by their law that some of their aid has to come through their local companies. I am not here saying that this is definitively the case for this. We have not discussed that. Which brings me to the question asked by the member from Southeast St. Andrew as to whether or not you wanted to have more details as to how the loans will be accessed, when they will be accessed, the conditionalities and interest rates and so forth. So today was, so just to back up so that the country understands clearly. 2 weeks ago, I had a discussion with all the international financial institutions at the G20. That discussion centered around how we can assist Jamaica's recovery. I asked for a particular kind of support. It was considered by the IFIs, and they came together and they made their release on Monday. This morning, I had a call with all the IFIs, including the head of the IMF, the head of the World Bank, the head of the IDB, the head of CAF, and the CDB, Caribbean Development Bank. And we worked out in broad outlines how the program will work. So I don't have for you as yet the details. The Minister of Finance will now go into the direct discussions to work out the details. We can say that the private sector loans, again to the point raised by the leader of the opposition, will form part of our public-private strategy. His concern is that, yes, you may say that $2.1 billion is available in private sector loan, but are there the matching investments ready to take it up? And on investors, and my answer to that is yes. Because the government of Jamaica was already in the process, because of our public investment appraisal process, where we have to develop projects way in advance. In addition to investors who have been coming to the government to say, we want to do this and we will fund it, and we have to decide, yes, we understand if you want to partner with us, you have to understand that we have to keep within our fiscal limits. And therefore there are projects that are lined up waiting for fiscal space to be executed. So which is why I've been saying that yes, it's a disaster, but that it has also created an opportunity for us to fund projects that have been on the track waiting to get fiscal space to be operated. So this is what I mean when I say we have opportunities. So this is also a signal, Madam Speaker, to the private sector that if there are projects that have a national impact that can be done using Jamaica's well-established public-private partnership structure, now is the time to get in line for those projects. The leader of the opposition is saying in a sort of a way that we don't have the money. The point is that once the international community stands up and commits to it, it would be very rare or something dramatic, negatively would have happened for us not to have access to the funding. I'm saying the private sector money, they have committed an envelope, and once they have committed that, it is then up to us to meet the envelope. Speaker, I am a strong advocate for climate justice. But the difference between myself and the leader of the opposition is you don't know what I'm going to say. You don't know what I'm going to say. The difference between myself and the leader of the opposition is that I am not expecting the international community to give Jamaica anything.
The Prime Minister is attributing a point of view or a remark to me, which is false. I've never said that the international community can be expected to give us anything. I know the world we're living in. I was pointing out the injustice of it, and the fact that it's because of the injustice of it that we're going to have to be taking on this massive amount of additional debt to try and dig ourselves out of this hole. That's the point I was making.
Madam Speaker, I accept the point of clarification, but there was no point about. But the clarification attempted by the leader of the opposition. Madam Speaker, my recollection of the leader of the opposition statement is that they are only giving us $12 million in grants. With all that we need, all that they're going to give us, let me say this, Madam Speaker. Yes, there is an injustice in the climate change issues that small island developing states in particular are faced with increasing in terms of frequency, in terms of intensity, and in terms of the overlapping of disasters that have an impact on our balance sheet as a country. And the argument is that rich countries that have benefited from using carbon-based fuels, should compensate. But, being your Prime Minister, the position I take is that until then, Jamaica must be able to stand on its own 2 feet, develop itself, and how do we as a small nation, Madam Speaker, stand on our own 2 feet? The leader of the opposition's argument is that we are going to have to borrow to do this recovery. No, I want to know, hold on, that's what he said. No. The leader of the opposition made the point that we are going to have to borrow to do the recovery. And you have made the exact point. Yes. So what else would we have to do? What else would we have to do? Which shows you the inconsistency of his arguments. But here's the problem now, Madam Speaker. How do we borrow? If it were 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we would not be able to approach the IFI. We wouldn't even be able to approach the international community. But Madam Speaker, even if we were able to approach the international community, it would not be on concessionary terms. It would not be in a structured way as this.
Hi guys, welcome back once again. I really hope you watched the full clip, and what I can really say that a lot of Jamaicans, they usually or they have always come in line number and saying that their PM Andrew Holness is such a big liar. And we all know, if the PM or if the leaders that are ruling a country, they are not doing things according to the will of the people, it's obvious they are putting money in their pocket. It's obvious they are puppet leaders. And if these leaders cannot come out clean and maybe satisfy their people, because you all know the people are the ones who choose them, if their people cannot become out clean to stop being corruption free, like maybe President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, we all know all these people or all these leaders are puppet leaders, or they are so much corrupt. They're just putting money in their pocket to satisfy their own and to just eat it with their families and whoever they know who is close to them. And we all know that corruption is not a new thing in Jamaica. Corruption is not a new thing in Caribbean countries or in Africa. Corruption is everywhere, but these leaders, whenever they do such things, they should stop just lying to the local people. They should just stop lying to the people who elected them, because it's really took a lot of courage. It's really just take a lot of courage for someone to vote for you, to be their PBM, to be their leader. And a lot of leaders that really came out and they usually lie to their people. They usually lie, they promise the people the heaven, but whenever they are being elected, they start hurting the people. They start showing the people, or they start showing the true colors to their own people. And this really affecting a lot of Caribbean countries. It's also affecting a lot of African countries. We've all seen how there is a lot of puppet leaders in African countries, in Caribbean. They are so greedy. They are stealing money from the people. They are stealing the taxpayer money. They are stealing the tax that is being collected from the country, making themselves more richer and leaving the local people to suffer. When it's come to school, there are some countries who don't have good schools, good hospital, and their leader, they're just living a lavish life. They're just living a luxurious life, whereas the people are suffering. We all know that there was money that was donated to give those people who were affected by the hurricane Melissa that happened in America. We praying to God that not such a thing to happen to Jamaica again, because a lot of people really suffered. A lot of people really lost their properties. They really went at a loss, and there was money that was located to help those people. But right now, there's no any Jamaica who has really come out and said that I was given such kind of a fund to help me because my property was destroyed. Right now, there's no any Jamaica that has really come out and said that they was given any money. And this really shows you of how maybe the PM of Jamaica is such a liar, is so a puppet leader, and we really need to change. We are not saying that these leaders cannot change if people come out and talk to them directly and correct them. We've all seen the Jamaican, the GLP party, or the GLP party. We have all seen all the leaders that really came out in number and they're really talking about this. The opposition leaders, they are telling Mr. Andrew Holness the truth. They are telling them of how it's not ruling the government, or it's not ruling the government of Jamaica very well. A lot of people are really crying out for help of how this government is so corrupt, of how this government has a lot of puppet leaders, and it's really needed to change because Jamaican people are suffering. Jamaican people are really crying out for help, and this is a thing that's really need to change. Let all leaders be like President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. I really love Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso because of what he's doing to his people. Ibrahim Traoré has been able to convince his people, because he's not a puppet leader, he's not a corrupt leader, and if he can find any puppet leader in his government or in his system, he just fire you up. And this is a leader who doesn't support any corruption, and this is the reason why we have all seen how Burkina Faso is still developing at a very high pace. Burkina Faso, they are building factories to help the people who are living there. They are building hospitals, they are building good schools to help the Burkinabe children, so that at least whenever they grow up to become wherever they want in future. And these are the things we really want our leaders to copy from Ibrahim Traoré. We want all our African leaders to copy from Ibrahim Traoré. We want all our Caribbean leaders to copy from Ibrahim Traoré. They need to change. We are not saying that they're just bad. The local people just need to talk to them, because these people are not doing a good thing to their own people. A lot of Jamaicans have really come out and they're really crying out for help of how the government is so corrupt, especially the local people, of how they're not being treated the right way. And a lot of them are really coming out and regretting their vote, because they're asking themselves, why did we vote for this man again? So we are not saying that a lot of things that are bad, but these things, if local people can come out and talk, it means that they can change. It means these leaders can change. They can stop being corrupt, being puppet, and to do the things according to the will of people. So guys, let me know what you think in the comment section, and if it was the first time you come across my video, don't forget that this video, subscribe and share. Thanks so much for your time. May God bless you. You are one love.